Hi, I'm Don McGrath, and I am a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
This is it. You're here. It's all happening. Another episode of ResultsLeader.fm. It is time once again to shine a spotlight on another results leader. Today, Don McGrath, PhD, joins me. Another doctor. Can you believe it? Now, he's a co-creator of 6-minute webinar technology, which makes it simple and easy for entrepreneurs to craft powerful marketing messages that speak directly to their ideal clients. This guy is entertaining. He is a bundle of energy, and I can't wait to share this interview with you. So let's dive in. All right. Welcome to the show, Don. How are you, brother?
Absolutely fantastic. A little cold here in Colorado. We had like a 40-degree swing from yesterday, but really happy to be here today. Thank you so much for the conversation today.
I cannot wait to get into it. And even more so, I can't wait to get to Colorado. I'm only 2 weeks away from our trip to Vail. So I hope to get some cold and some snow as well. So let's jump in. All right. First question's an easy one to get things started. We want to give our listeners a quick win, something that they can use right now. So Don, what book or books have you given most as a gift?
I think the single book I've given hundreds of them away, probably, but it's my own book. It's called The Climb, because when I do speaking, I'll often ask the audience when they have a ninja moment. I love ninja. I love American Ninja Warrior. I love all kinds of ninjas. But when they have a ninja moment to say ninja, and then I run over to them with a copy of The Climb. It's a leadership fable. And so that's probably the book I've given away most. But I also love 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That I just love that book. Usually I give it to young people. That's when I discovered it in my 20s, and it changed my life. Reading that book changed my life.
What about the 7 Habits changed your life, Don?
I went to college and I was in a job. I was working for General Electric at the time, and it opened my eyes to the whole world of personal development. I had never really been introduced to that. Only been school booked in a college environment, but it showed that I have control of my life. And I have things I can control and things that I can't control. And if I am clear about what I want to do, I've got a lot of knobs, and it really educated me. And I think it had a lot to do with the success I had in my corporate career and also the success I have as an entrepreneur.
I got to ask one more question on this because I find it fascinating. Why was that concept of control a new idea to you?
I think I had been in this track of, you go to school and you go through K through 8, and then you go through high school, and then you go to college. And I think I had never had any entrepreneurism in my background at all, like in my family. In fact, I was the first one to go to college in my immediate family. So, personal development was just, it kind of wasn't really discussed. It was like you kind of did what was obvious to you. And this whole thought that your world could explode in areas, in directions you never imagined, it was foreign to me. And same thing when I got into a corporate environment. You come in as a staff member, and then you go associate staff, and then you get, whatever, chief scientist at the research center where I was, and maybe you become a manager. It seemed it was like stepwise. And that book, it's non-linear, right? I mean, when you open your mind to the things that are in that book, and many, many other books, by the way, that are wonderful. I've gone on to read hundreds of them. They just expanded my mind.
Love it, man. So let's have a little fun. What purchase under $100 has most positively impacted your life?
So I got to cheat on this one a little bit because I pay it every month. It's my climbing gym membership. I'm a rock climber, and my rock climbing is central to my being at this stage of my life. And that helps to keep me sane. It makes sure that I have fun in my workouts and that I stay fit and healthy. And so that is the thing that right now we're going through a weird time with this virus, and I'm not going, my wife and I just decided the other day, we're going to hold off on going to the gym for a while, and inside I'm shaking. I'm kind of like, what is the implication of this on my mental health? But yeah, so that is the thing that's the best purchase I make every month, and I gladly pay it.
Yeah, and it really falls in line with Ninja Warrior. Climbers are champions in Ninja Warrior. Love it, love it, love it. So let's get serious here now. It's time to get serious, Don. How has an apparent failure set you up for later success?
My life is a full of failures. It's full of failures. I remember once I wrote a book. It was a book on health and fitness. And when I got done with it, I realized I didn't want to do all the work that I had to do to make it really successful, like to get the trainings and nutrition and stuff. And so it's like I put all this work in, hundreds of hours into writing this book, only to realize that it was a dead end for me. And what that did is it made me get back and ask the question, like, where do I really want to go? What is the mountain I want to be on? It's like I did all this work, got to the wrong top of the wrong mountain. And I was like, crap, I'm on the wrong mountain. But it made me step back and say, what is that mountain that I really want to be on top of? And that really helped me to set direction for my next book, which was about rock climbing. And it's done fabulously. And it really propelled me into a lot of the things I'm doing today. So yeah, I think it was a lot of work and I ended up on the wrong peak, but that made me take a step back and really evaluate the peak that I really wanted to be on.
All right. So let's talk about investments one more time. What would you say is the most worthwhile investment you've ever made?
I don't think it's true today as it was back when I was going through it, but my college education was the best investment. I think in the end, I think I had a loan for $10,000 and I worked and, paid for most of it. But I calculated once that I earned close to $10 million in my career as an engineer. So I think that's pretty good return on investment. I will say, I don't think the same is true today. Like I know many people who have gone to college in the last 10 years and the ROI hasn't been very good for them. So the world has changed. And I guess the lesson there is what's true one decade is not true the next decade, or very, very possibly not true the next decade. So that was indeed the best investment I ever made. But if I was in a young person's shoes today, I would consider other paths.
What kind of paths?
I would consider the entrepreneurial path because I'm doing it now and I've much more self-determination. I've got much more freedom. I've got a lot more responsibility, right? If I don't row, the boat don't go. But I think there's so much opportunity out there with the gig economy. Like I hire people all the time to do gig work for me and for my business. And I think there's so much opportunity to live anywhere you want, do the kind of stuff that's your groove and not necessarily be beholden to a corporation that one day could decide, hey, we don't need you anymore.
Yes, indeed. So, Don, in the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
I think it's a belief and a behavior of don't wait. And some of it has to do with my age. I'm 57. And so there's quite a number of people in my circle, people I know who are maybe not doing so well from a health standpoint, which has implications on everything. As somebody told me a long time ago, any problem that you have that can be solved with money is not really a problem. It's an inconvenience. And that's very true. So people around me, some people, maybe not still around me, my age. And so I've developed this don't wait. I was working in a corporate career several years ago and I decided I wasn't going to wait anymore. And I made the jump to have my own business and I've never been happier. I mean, I wake up every day so excited to do what I'm going to do. So don't wait. You're not promised tomorrow. And there's so much opportunity out there, especially now the earth is flat. Everything is flat, right? So opportunities, you have the same opportunities as I do. It's never been more true.
Don, what bad recommendations do you hear in your area of expertise?
So one of the reasons that Jim Grant and I, the co-founders of Speakers Pathway, now we're doing some rebranding to Scale Pathway because we realized we hardly had anybody who was a speaker who was our clients. We were all helping with their marketing. But we started Speakers Pathway, soon to be Scale Pathway, because there's a lot of these 7-figure workshops out there. You go for 2-3 days, you pay $8, $9, $10, $20,000 to get the secret, the 7-figure secret. And my experience and many others' experience is you might have 7 figures, but unfortunately for most people, it's all zeros. And so you rack up, 5 figures on your credit card, and then you get back 7 zeros, which, if I do my math right, isn't usually good. So, I really think I urge people to, find the right mentors. But, for some people, the big swing going from almost nothing to 7 figures can happen, but I don't think it's a very good bet. I would more bet on learn from the people who have been recently where you want to go, and then have them walk beside you.
I wrote that down. Cool. Now let's talk about results. Why do results matter?
Well, in business, if you don't get results, you're not going to be in business. So, when I one of the first jobs I ever had was for Hewlett Packard, and their number one value was making a profit, because they realized if they didn't make a profit, they weren't going to be around to do all the other things that they do in their business, all the other things they do to support community, develop technology. So in business, money is like the lifeblood of a business. And the only way you make money in a business is to get results. So many other parts of life don't necessarily have results, like in a relationship. What is a result in a relationship? I don't know how to quantify that. Happiness, my relationship with my wife has changed and grown, and we couldn't have set a goal around it, right? Except maybe to stay together, maybe that's the good result. But in business, getting a result and making money is imperative to your survival. If you don't do that, you're not going to be in business very long, and you can't do all the other things we look to accomplish in our business.
Love it. In the last 5 years, what new realization has helped you get better results for your clients?
This is the road that you learn. We started out Speaker's Pathway trying to help people who wanted to speak, to get on stages and to do what they love without spending an arm and a leg and racking up tons of debt. What we found over a couple of years working with our clients is that while they wanted to speak, most of them, like their central part of their business, most of them were coaches, consultants, or experts who use their expertise and were monetizing that. The biggest problem we saw was that not that they weren't speaking or couldn't speak. The biggest problem is they weren't getting results in their business. Like they weren't making enough money to survive. So they would have to get odd jobs or drive Uber or, get another job. Right. So, and therefore they couldn't really help the people they really wanted to help, and they couldn't follow their passion like they wanted to. And so when we looked at what the real issues were, there were 2 central issues. One issue is that they were doing everything. Like they had a book and they had a CD thing and they were doing a new course and they were going to do speaking and they were doing this and that. And they weren't making money at any of it, or very little, onesie, twosie kinds of things. The real problem was in their messaging and their marketing, that they just didn't have focus and momentum and be able to speak directly to an ideal client and make it obvious that it was a fit or not. So that was one thing that we really helped them with, because we would just immediately say, okay, it's all great. I love that you got a new book, and, oh, I know you're really excited about this podcast that you're starting, but for the next 90 days, everything but one thing is going on hold. Not forever, but for 90 days. And we're going to find the thing that's worked the best, and we're going to focus on that, and we're going to get some cash flowing. Because once you have cash, you can go do the other things, right? So that was probably the biggest realization, that the biggest thing was just lack of focus and clarity to gain momentum.
Now, we're going to turn this thing internal for a second. What area of your business would you like to see better results?
I think the one area that I haven't cracked the code on for our members and the people who like what we do and use what we do is we've got tons of courses, over 40 courses. And I just don't, they're not being consumed and utilized as I feel would be most beneficial for our members. And so they love the coaching. And so they come to that part of what we do, and that's, they get the most benefit out of it. But every time I go in and look at our courses, I think, man, if they just combined the courses and the coaching, it would just take them to an entirely new level. So of course, we encourage them, but I haven't cracked the code on how to get better utilization of the courses that we currently have. No less developing the new courses.
It's frustrating, isn't it? You put all the work in, you know they are going to get the results, but you can't get them to just go dig in. I know how you feel, brother.
Jim, what my business partner, Jim Grant, told me a long time ago when we first started this journey. He said, you can be responsible to people, but you can't be responsible for people. So you can provide opportunity, but you can't make the horse drink. But I think if we could, the horse would be happier. So we're working on that right now, putting together the curriculum that I think is going to be a little easier for people to follow.
Excellent. So here is the big one. Hope you're sitting down for this. What results are you most proud of?
The results that I'm most proud of they're the ones that are making me jump up every day right now. So excited. At 4:00 in the morning, sometimes I'm like up because I just can't sleep and my brain's going. Well, in what we're doing with this piece of technology that came out of what we were doing with Speakers Pathway, Scale Pathway, it's called the 6-minute webinar. And that doggone thing, that technology is helping so many people get that clarity and really get that focus. So, and instead of going to months of coaching or whatever, this is like you go to a boot camp and in 3 hours, you have clarity. You've got a marketing asset that you can use, and you've got a methodology that you can utilize over and over and over again to just get super clear and have a message that speaks about one thing to the ideal client with a powerful offer that they can't say, if they're the ideal client, they can't say no to it. It's impossible for them to say no. So I just love seeing people get that clarity. I've had people tell Bill and I, like, I've been trying for years to get clarity around this thing that I do. And once they have that clarity, their business starts taking off.
Man, I love it. I love it. So as we are wrapping up, there's a couple things that we need to talk about here. Number one is, where can our listeners go to get more from you, Don?
So there's 2 places. I've got a little bit of a split personality, wearing a split hat, I guess, or 2 hats. I don't know what we call it these days. But you can go to scalepathway.com. Scalepathway.com. It was speakerspathway.com. We're taking a pivot so we can more clearly articulate exactly what we do. Or you can find me at 6minutewebinar.com. 6minutewebinar.com, spelled SIX, 6minutewebinar.com.
Got it. So we will share these links in the show notes so people can get them there. And as we are coming to a close on our time together, Don, anything you want to say to the listeners?
Well, this happy holiday. So we're heading into this wonderful holiday season of, Thanksgiving. And I'm very thankful for all the things that are in my life, bar the virus, that's given us some challenges. But I guess just be thankful and don't wait. Don't wait. If there's something you really want to do, go do it. And if you don't know where to start, find somebody who's already done it and call them up on the doggone Zoom call. I mean, it's never been easier to connect with people.
Yes, indeed. All right. So that is a wrap. Thank you, Don, for taking some time out to wrap with us. Thank you for sharing your insight. And thank you for encouraging us not to wait. I couldn't agree with you more. That is a wrap for another Results Leader.fm. Thank you, folks, for tuning in, and we'll be back in your earbuds next time. That is a wrap for another edition of Results Leader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to resultsleader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard.
This is the podcastfactory.com.